What is up, my Squirtleites? It is I, your king, welcoming you back to more Let's Play Fallout 4. In the last episode, we finally dealt with Justin Ao, leader of the Synth Retention Bureau, in the quest Plugging a Leak, which is normally not accessible if you have had any interaction with the railroad in a positive way whatsoever, but through some console command finaglery, I was able to get that actually activated and got it done. That pretty much concludes the last of the Institute-related side quests. Now, today, we are going to be pretty much tying up some loose ends regarding the Institute. We have an item to go fetch for Sean. We have a single Radiant quest that I actually haven't done yet, revolving around Alanis Accord, where some raiders have stolen a synth, kidnapped a synth, and we need to go and track it down. And then, of course, we need to take the serum to Virgil, and I think that pretty much covers everything else. But then we also need to have a little bit of a discussion today. So this is going to be kind of a slower-paced episode, but I'm going to be talking about some things. Now, something I haven't shown yet is that once you have finished the main story, you are given an extra paint job that goes with your X01 power armor. And in this particular case, you can get the Institute paint job, which increases intelligence when all the pieces are painted. So I'm going to go ahead and do that really quickly here. Just kind of get everything going. I'm going to leave everything else as I'm not even going to upgrade the actual armor itself. I think the health is all maxed out. But before I get on into this thing, I'm also going to move... given my inventory space, I'll probably be fine. I'm going to go drop some weapons off, and I'm going to pick up some other ones. We're just going to kind of have some fun today with all of my remaining powerful weapons if I can. I think I'm going to put the blaster pistol away. I'm not using that. The shish kebab as well. But I'm going to hang on to the cryolator. I'm going to hang on to the Fat Man and Experiment 18A. That's it. And then I'm going to go upstairs. Oh, wait. Hold on. I forgot. I have a good weapon in there. The Gauss rifle. Let's take that as well. And then I am also going to go and grab myself my Gatling laser. And that should pretty much be everything. Oh, wait. That's the better Gauss rifle. Excuse me. I forgot I had two. I'm going to store you. And then actually, I'm going to use this last level up here to go into... Oh, I'm already at gun net rank 4. I thought I wasn't. Well, that works out even better. Let's go into Rifleman because that's actually going to help out my Gauss rifle just a little bit. Well, let's put this at the highest possible one, which is capacitor boosting coil. Perfect. And also the suppressor. All right, all of that is also helping us out with X6's affinity, which is good because we're going to be getting him to the last rank today as well. Now, let's get inside this power armor, and our first order of business is going to be to go rescue that synth, which is at the East City Downs, which the closest location to that is actually where we were in the last episode, and that is the National Guard Training Yard. So let's head out there. And today, well, man, where do I even begin? This is going to be a little bit of a discussion-heavy episode because we need to go over, I think, morality. We're gonna talk about the decision-making in this entire playthrough, how I've set it up, why I've done it the way I've done it, because I feel like that's going to be the most interesting stuff to talk about today. 51 mini-nukes still left to spend. That is kind of fun. I'm going to start with the Gauss rifle, though, as we go. So... let's talk about Nora for a minute. Let's talk about our version of Nora here for a moment so that I can fully and adequately explain my thought process and the way why I did things the way that I did. Why did a car just drop off a cliff into Nora? And also, is that a protector? Okay, well, whatever. Anyway, doesn't matter. I want to talk about my rationale for this entire thing and also why I did this Let's Play the way I did, and also why it's on the short side so much, because out of all of the optional playthroughs, this is definitely going to be the shortest for a myriad of reasons. The first of those being that the Institute just doesn't have a lot going on with them, plain and simple. There's not really another way around that. Of all the factions in Fallout 4, the Institute is far and away the least interesting faction. That's just a fact. They have the least amount of quests going on. When it comes to number of side quests, what do you have? You have Plugging a Leak, which you can accidentally lock yourself out of very easily anyway if you in any way positively interact with the railroad. And then you have A House Divided, which is only something that happens in like the middle of the main story if you get named the director. And that's it. Everything else is Radiant quests or just going through the main story and seeing it all said and done. And once the main story is over, that's pretty much it. Meanwhile, the Brotherhood of Steel has, you know, it has the entire Lost Patrol quest that's involved. It's got a lot of stuff involving Paladin Dance. To the side, you got, you know, all the stuff you can do at the police station before you even interact with everything at the Pridwen. It's got a lot of moving parts to it. And then the Railroad has a bunch of major side quests, including everything regarding Randolph's safe house. You know, you got all that ballistic we can go after, a bunch of different Radiant quests to go after, escorting synths and whatnot. You've also got some quests dotted all over the Commonwealth that are pretty railroad friendly, like the one that takes place in the the Covenant settlement, things of that nature. And then, of course, the Minutemen, they've got to have by far the most loaded number of quests of any faction without any dispute. I mean, it's pretty obvious they've got a lot going on. So with all of that in mind, the Institute is relatively lacking, let's just put it that way. And that is because, and this is going to be the one part where I'm going to really defend Fallout 4's writing, is I think that people who believe that Fallout 4 is trying in any way to be ambiguous about the nature of Fallout 4's morality system when it comes to the Institute is an idiot. Because, yes, okay, I'm not going to say that Fallout 4 has fantastic writing. It doesn't. It's solid in some areas and downright not that great in others. Also, I love that they're just, yeah, you know, just keep racing. I'm not even going to shoot at the robots because they won't attack you until you start shooting at them. But I would honestly say the biggest criticism with Fallout 4's writing actually is in relation to the Brotherhood of Steel. I would say that's where they're a little bit more ambiguous because they're like, well, you know, they're not great and they definitely have some absolutist views, but it's very possible that some people could agree with those views. I think it's alarming if you do, but they definitely have, like, the best interests of people in mind, or at least they think they do. They can at least delude themselves into believing that they're doing the right thing. You know, they've got their superior might on their side, and they actually do have what seems to be the means to protect the Commonwealth. So for all those reasons and more, you can at least say, okay, well, Fallout 4 is at least providing an out for Brotherhood of Steel supporters, even if it's still pretty obvious what they are. You know, I can honestly say I have absolutely seen people almost 50-50 between the Brotherhood of Steel and the Railroad, which I think is hilarious, between which is the weirder faction to side with. I mean, I think it's not a question in my mind that the Railroad is a more unambiguously good faction, even if they do have their own issues as well. But regardless, there's definitely, like, the gray areas there with them. The Institute, I'm sorry, there's no gray area. You can't possibly imagine a gray area unless you're an idiot, because the game gives you so many clues into what the Institute is doing as evil. Everything they've done with Virgil, everything that went on in the FEV lab, a lot of just Father's wording with things, the way he talks about your spouse as collateral damage. I mean, you know, there are times once you finish the main quest where you can just straight up turn on him and say, nah, he was an asshole. He was a monster. Something that you would say about your own child. It's like, why would you be able to say those in these situations? You're never given that kind of option to say those things about characters like Desdemona or even Elder Maxon. Yet, Sean is absolutely, you were given so many outs to vilify the guy the second he dies. Like, it's pretty obvious what the game is trying to go for there. Also, hi there. I'm just going to kill you right off the bat. So I'm going to grab that, and then I'm going to free you.
The Institute sent me. Take this transmitter, and they'll send a courser to pick you up.
I look forward to returning to my duties.
There we go. Okay. Yeah, it's pretty unambiguous what's going on. Like, there's not really much the game is doing to lead you in the right direction. The only way I could rationalize this in my head when I'm creating a character for this is that Nora is, well, deluded, which, you know, makes a ton of sense. She lost her spouse and then lost her child. She has nothing else left to live for. And I think it is a pretty well-known fact that humans are able to are able to experience cognitive dissonance in situations that involve people they care about and people that, you know, loved ones and whatnot. You think about moments where the most heinous crimes have been committed and there are still defenders of those people, oftentimes people that are closest to them. You know, when somebody is found guilty of something horrendous, sometimes family members will still stick by them, which you might think is a horrible thing to do, but a lot of times they just can't believe that somebody they love would be that way. And you know, I'm not saying I necessarily agree with it, but it is a realistic scenario. People, even good people, can feel that way at times. And when I think about Nora, who this Nora is that I've created as a character, that is the only way that I can absolutely rationalize her siding with the Institute. It's the only way that makes sense to me from a cognitive standpoint. It's the only way that can make sense, I think, for a somewhat good character. And I tried to leave hints that this version of Nora still has, you know, the interests of good people in mind, that she still wants to do right. I mean, siding with Liam Bonet and getting rid of Justin Ayo, I think, is a pretty unambiguously good choice. But also, there are nuggets in there that tell you exactly why I also think that that while the Institute doesn't really have any good people in it. I mean, a great example is that quest, because Liam Bonet, the one who is setting the Sins free, the one that is helping them, he's not even doing it. He's not even altruistic himself. He's not even doing good things himself. He literally says, and I quote, "I just wanted to see if I could do it." He's doing it to kind of just fuck with the Institute and prove that he's a cool hacker man. And that's the end of it, which is ridiculously silly. And in fact, if you side with any of the other factions and take down the Institute, especially if you side with the Railroad, who mostly directly works with Liam Bonet, but more specifically Patriot, who is probably one of the few actually good characters that lives inside the Institute, or morally good characters, I should say. Once you get Liam involved with that, he kind of just is dismissive, and then once he realizes what's going to happen to the Institute, he basically goes, "Oh God, what have I done?" and runs away screaming in a panic. Like, he's not a good character. He's still selfish. It just, you know, he just happened to accidentally, inadvertently do some possibly good things. And, yeah, that's pretty much the extent of that. Again, like I said, there's not a lot of good characters. Even Allie, who I said out of all of the... What are you saying you can't be serious to? Is there something around here? Anyway, out of all of the Institute heads, I think she is the most morally good, but she is still 100% loyal to the Institute. She will not side with you under any other circumstances or with any other faction. Her loyalty is completely to the Institute and to Father. She's just probably the most empathetic out of the four. In fact, I would say the only one who's disloyal, actually, if you know the other routes, is Madison Lee, but only to the Brotherhood of Steel. That's mainly just because they are also willing to fund her research. She is basically a riff on some of those morally bankrupt, ambiguously good or bad German scientists from World War II who were then picked up by the Americans after the war. That's pretty much what Madison Lee is meant to be. She's like, I'm only interested in being on the winning side as long as the stuff that I'm working on gets funded properly. That's it. So, yeah, not a lot of good characters running around the Institute, unfortunately, and there's just not much that leads you into their way of thinking. It just doesn't really make sense. So, all of that in mind, and the fact that the Institute just doesn't have a lot going on as a faction, really kind of made this, I think, the most difficult playthrough to put together. And in contrast, whenever I get to the next playthrough, which is definitely going to be the Minutemen, that's going to be a much, much longer playthrough. In fact, that's going to be practically half a Fallout 4 playthrough in and of itself whenever I get around to it. But I think I'm going to make that a little bit more special, a little bit more eventful. It's going to be kind of its own thing where we sort of stop and sort of give Fallout 4 another do-over without being like, I'm going to do everything in the game again. You know what I mean? Because there's so much more going on in that regard, and there's so much more that I can do that can actually connect it into the main story of Fallout 4 in a good way, that I think will make things a lot more interesting without running around like I'm a chicken with my head cut off, like I did in the original blind playthrough of this game. But all right, that's enough of that. I feel like we've had a pretty good discussion on that. Now it is time to head off to the Glowing Sea, to the Rocky Cave, and talk to Virgil. Yeah, I'm oh gosh, that's right. I forgot the Matriarch. Okay, a little bit of a strong death claw. We're just going to take this thing out. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do something here. Pardon me. Pardon me. Watch out, X6. Here we go. Waste of ammo? But you're fine, and it's not. So I think that actually was a perfect use of my ammo. Plus, I'm not going to get very many opportunities to do that again. So let's head on into Virgil's laboratory. Okay, I'm going to put my weapon away because I really don't need that out. So this is kind of an interesting interaction here, specifically involving X6, but we're going to head on in here and we're just going to get this done, and then I'll talk about how X6 relates to this entire situation. I do want to note one thing as we go through this dialogue, but let's talk to Virgil.
I'm glad to see the relay didn't completely vaporize you.
The interceptor worked. It was rough, but it worked.
Amazing. And what about the serum? Did you find the serum?
So note right here that you can actually pass a speech check. This actually evolves into multiple escalating difficulty speech checks, of which there are 3. And I'll talk about those in a second, but I'm going to give him the serum.
I've got it right here.
That's it. That's really it. All right. Let's see. Retrovirus has matured nicely. Density gradient is high. Recombinant counter-intron sequences look stable. Transcriptive exon strands have formed.
So, it's good?
There's only one way to find out. All right. Here we go. And now, we wait.
How long will it take?
I don't know. Nothing like this has ever been tried before. I'm going to rest for a while. I'm back in a few days, maybe a week, and... well, I guess we'll see. In any event, you kept your end of our bargain. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Virgil. I'm going to take this test of science that I left in here real quick, and we're going to get out of here, and I'm going to talk about what happened. And also, I am going to go looking for something, so don't mind me while I just fast travel to a random place across the Commonwealth. But, okay, let's talk about that situation for a second, because X6 is an interesting character. Well, kind of. He, at least in this situation, he can be interesting, because generally, X6 hates it when you go against the Institute, and he likes violence, and he especially likes inciting violence against people not in the Institute, or in any way related to the Institute, or if they are in any way betraying the Institute. Virgil has betrayed the Institute. Virgil helped us get into the Institute. Virgil is a super mutant, which represents a lot of what X6 hates. So why then does he not hate it if you give him the serum? In fact, that escalating speech check that I was talking about, if you go through with that, you actually encourage Virgil to kill himself. That's right. And funny enough, that is the only thing that X6 reacts to of all of the possible options. And he actually reacts to it negatively. That's right. He does not react to it positively. He thinks it's a bad thing if you do that. If you just walk up and kill Virgil for no reason and just shoot him and he dies, he doesn't react positively or negatively. If you give him the serum, he doesn't react positively or negatively. But if you lie to him, if you then convince him to off himself, X6 isn't a fan of that, which I think is interesting. It raises a few questions about X6's point of view on certain things and his morality in certain situations. I don't know if it says too much about his character, but it is very telling that he's not like, this guy needs to die, he's a traitor, whoa, 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 but he's also not like, he's still a member of the Institute, we need to save him, we need to bring him back, etc. He's kind of like stuck somewhere in the middle, which I think is very, very strange. In fact, there's only one character in the game who dislikes it if you give the serum to Virgil, and that is Paladin Danse, Brotherhood of Steel, because of course he just outright dislikes super mutants in general. So a little bit of a strange interaction there, I gotta say. Now, we obviously need to kill a little bit of time before we go back to Virgil, which we will. But right now, I need to do one more thing, and that is run an errand for Synth Sean, which is looking for what is called a hot plate. Now, those are all over the Commonwealth. They can be found in just about anywhere. I'm going to go check a few areas, but one area I'm almost positive there is one is actually this location over here, which is going to allow me to get fun with my weapons a little bit more. So I'm going to break out the Cryolator again, and we're going to go and kill some raiders, as well as some turrets as well. Okay, here we go. In fact, have this. Silly stuff. I don't actually know if that actually hit the turret because it might have been protected by whatever it's sitting in. Oh, hi there. I'm going to just punch you with that. Here, have another one. Oh, that probably doesn't feel too good. How about another? Man, it's a good thing I don't have the basher perk at all. This would really hurt. It probably still does. I'm still whacking you with something made of metal. Oh, I can't believe you survived that. Okay, you didn't survive that one, though. Knocks your head off and everything. All right, what do we got here? We got this. Take that out. Okay, I did destroy the other turret from the looks of it, so that's good. All right, into Backstreet Apparel I go. I am going to break out the cryolator here, but as I head in, I am also going to grab one of my nuka grenades. Using this in a tight space, probably not the best idea, but whatever. Go forth! Oh, that was so overkill. Yep, everything in here exploded. All right, cool. So there are more around here. We're going to go take them out. They're in some of the other rooms, mostly upstairs, I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to go through and just kind of freeze all of them to death. But like I said, I am looking for a hot plate, and I'm pretty sure there is one in here somewhere. And again, I just want to remind you again, I am playing on the hardest difficulty. I don't know how much more I can make that clear. We can get Grognak the Barbarian there. That's cool. Let's see. We got some caps in here. Did not mean to open up that menu because I specifically need this hot plate if I can find it. It's got to be around here somewhere. Pack of duct tape. I don't think it's actually in this room. I think it... Oh, you. This is you. Okay, you kind of scared me a little bit there. We got a master safe. Maybe I can get through this. It's got to be around here somewhere. If it's not in here, then we'll just keep scouring until we find it. But I do want to get this. So, let's see. Nothing there. Okay. I mean, a few things I can grab, but not really what I was after. Definitely don't need to be grabbing certain other things as we go through here. Broken lamp, small baby bottle. Nope, nope, nope. Okay, I'm going to keep looking. Clutch. We got our named character here somewhere. If I can find them. But I actually don't know where they are. Not in here. Oh, you're just in here. Okay, this is it. And goodbye. All right. Not in here either. That's an advanced safe. We got a few things there. Still no hot plate. We got a Carlisle typewriter. But not what I'm after exactly. Well, I was totally expecting there to be one in here. But I'm starting to think that maybe I was mistaken. That's fine. We got time. Okay, let's see. I knew it wasn't driver. I don't know why I expected it to be. Because it did not match up with the first word at all. And now, we go through here. Probably shouldn't have grabbed that pipe pistol, but whatever. I'm not really too worried about being over-encumbered at this point. Is it possibly back here? It's got to be in here somewhere, right? I mean, like I said, they're all over the place. You just have to find, especially if you find, like, a coffee pot. Those are usually sitting on top of one. So that's also a pretty good tell a lot of the time. But it looks like I am out of luck here. Possibly over here. Anywhere. If I walked past one, I'm going to be very upset, but from what I can tell, it doesn't look like there is anything at all. So I am just going to keep moving then, and we'll move on to the next area and see what we can find. I don't know, maybe I'll find one outside somewhere. Maybe I was going to say raider settlements generally have them a lot. I mean, I could obviously always look through my place, but I don't really want to do that. Especially when I've got so many things stashed away in there. I mean, it's possible one of them's a hot plate, but it could be through literally anywhere. What's up, Diamond City Security? Maybe there's one here in the police station. We can take a look here as well. Not there, although there is some coffee mugs, which is usually a pretty good indicator. Again, if there's a coffee pot anywhere, you pretty much generally know where you're supposed to go. Okay, Police Precinct 8. Oh, okay. Hunter's submachine gun, thanks. I mean, I can just melee these things to death. They'll die really simply. Anything in there? There's a tape. Kill you. I like how that one was just called a regular rad roach, even though it was clearly a glowing rad roach. But, all right, in here possibly. Still no hot plate. Still no hot plate. Oh, man, I'm going to find one of these for you, Sean. I promise I am. And I'm probably going to even show it. Okay, here's the library, which I've already been through before. I'm going to kind of ignore that. Right here on the backside of Diamond City. There could be one in there, but I don't want to really search through there. That is a suicider. Or not. Okay, I thought he was based on the way he was walking, but it doesn't look like that's the case. Oh, Mrs. Parker. Okay. Oh, Mrs. Donahue. Hi. I'm going to keep using cryo rounds on all of you. Okay, well, hold on. Let me get you. There we go. Get a few of you. Just kind of freeze all of you. I think it's funny that you're all named. Okay, well, they're very dead. There's a super mutant there. The problem is the cryolator has really bad range. So it doesn't, you want to use it as close as you possibly can to whatever you're shooting at. Basically use it like a shotgun. Obviously it does insane damage when you're actually hitting your shots, but that is obviously something you still need to get very close to do. What the heck? This building is so tall. It just keeps going. Hi. Okay, you're dead. Oh, there we go. Another one. Was not expecting y'all up here all the way. Seriously, you guys don't have anything up here? Oh, I can jump on? Yeah, there is. There we go. Kill the Raider scum with the jump. And we'll kill you as well. Oh, is this the mall right here? I think it might be. Let's find out. If it is... Got a gate here. Oh, that's closed. Oops. Open that back up. Is this the place? Oh, this might be promising right here. We got ourselves some apartments. Leighton Towers. Okay, we'll try here. We'll try here and I'll see if I can find one. I just got to get through that and then also take that turret out. The last Raider is up top somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll have to go up, but I think they're at the tippy top, which I can only go about halfway up this way. Again, this Institute Power Armor, man, it is absolutely doing the job for me. Oh, no, I can't make it all the way to the top. Okay, cool. You're up there somewhere? Oh, that's a nuke grenade I still have. Oops. How did you survive that? Genuinely, how? Okay, I'm going to switch to a different grenade here. Let's go cryogenic grenade. You know, while I'm also using the cryolator. Nope, still missed. You're in there somewhere. There we go. Okay, I actually got her that time. Let me try bouncing it off of that really quickly. Oh, that might have gone too far. No, I got her. Cool. That worked out. All right, into the towers. And is there possibly a kitchen in here somewhere? That's usually a pretty good indicator that you're going to run into a hot plate as well. Got to be able to find something. Just going to keep blasting my way through people. Oh, hi there. Raider Survivalist, huh? Oh, Legendary Raider. Okay, cool. Well, that didn't feel too good, did it? Cryogenic arm. What are the odds? That's really funny, actually. I am not going to unlock this chem box because that is not something I'm interested in at the moment. There are so many Raiders in here. What the heck? I forgot how busy this place is. I like how you're calling a person walking around in a giant mech suit just girl. X6, are you doing a good job in there? All right, is there a hot plate over here? Nope. I was really hoping. Okay, I don't have a lot of shots left. If I can take this guy out. What's he got? Okay, leather chest piece. This is killing me, man. I got to be able to find one somewhere. It's got to be in one of these kitchens, right? Nope, nope, nope. Not here. Seriously? There's even cooking oil and everything. I mean, there's kitchens all over the place in here. You got to be able to find at least one. What about in here? Nope, there's a coffee pot and everything, too. Gosh, I got so excited. Cooking pan. All right, let me see if I can go down another level. Possibly in this area. Oh, nope, I already killed you. Although I didn't kill you. Never mind. You died by taking Jet and throwing up into a bucket. Definitely wasn't my doing. I mean, that is pretty funny, but I actually took some significant damage there. This armor doesn't make you completely invincible. Okay, there's got to be like another kitchen in here somewhere, right? There's this. I'll take a fusion core. Why not? Soap, cigarettes. How about in here, please? You are not incredibly bright. Really? Still nothing in the way of a hot plate. This is absolutely killing me, man. Aha! Well, I'm surprised this is where I had to go back to, but I had to go back to the Railroad HQ because this is the only place I could frickin' find one without going all over the place. I checked like 8 more locations and I just couldn't. I don't remember those being as rare as they are. I mean, I know they're really nice because they provide a lot of circuitry. Well, only 2 actually, but then they also give you copper too, which can also be pretty rare. But I was not expecting it to be that hard to run into one, but I eventually found it, so there's that at least. Now we can fast travel back to the Institute, which is good. And I am going to go and give this to Sean, who is, well, not up there. Actually, I'm going to get out of my power armor for a moment. Hopefully, I am not over-encumbered immediately. I am not. That is good. But yeah, I'm going to go and talk to Sean here in a moment after I talk to, I'm guessing this is Alana, who's probably asleep. She is. I'm going to, let's talk to her.
I delivered the transmitter.
Let her wake up really slowly. I hate doing this because they take forever to get out of bed. Well, she was actually a lot faster than normal.
I guess those raiders didn't know what hit them.
It was a slaughter. They never stood a chance.
In that case, I'm glad you're on our side. The raiders are a constant threat to our scavenging operations. Unfortunately, more synths are likely to be captured. If you want to continue helping us out, check back with me and I'll let you know if we need another rescue.
Okay, Alana, there you go. Cool. Reclamation East City Down's done. We got ourselves another level up. That's really, really cool. I guess I'll put it into Life Giver. At this point, I don't really care. Actually, I have another one to go around. My goodness, I have so freaking many. Let's go Awareness at the next level, I guess. That's probably fine. Okay, so I'm going to leave the power armor still there for a moment. And what I need to do is I'm going to actually pass time a little bit, and then I am going to make it daytime so I can then go and talk to Sean. Hopefully he's happy with the hot plate we're about to give him. What's up, kid?
Synths are weird, aren't they? They're almost just like real people.
Almost.
Hey, Sean.
Did you find what I needed?
Yep. Got it right here.
Perfect! Thanks! I'll try to make you something really good, okay? Do you like it? Maybe if you don't need it, you could sell it to someone else.
What do you mean, do I like it? What did I get? Did you give me a thing? I don't know what you gave me in return. I don't think you did give me anything in return. Thanks, kiddo, though.
When I grow up, I could be the director someday.
Maybe?
Well, hello.
Are you leaving again? I like it when you're here.
Oh, man, that's just absolutely manipulative. He's a child. Obviously, that's not a huge deal. Well, we'll have to see what we get out of the deal. Maybe once the kid's all said and done, if we get anything out of it. But let me get back into my power armor. And, well, I mean, shoot. That pretty much covers everything, doesn't it? I mean, there's still X6, there's still Virgil, but we have to wait a little bit for Virgil, don't we? I guess I could take this power armor back to Hangman's Alley, and then I guess we can go from there. Maybe see if anything else changes. Maybe getting into the armor will help me out just a little bit more. I don't know. You like that, X6? You did like that? Well, that's good. That's good. Well, I've been at this for a little while, kind of going around just fine-tuning all of my things, and I seem to have gotten yet one last prompt from X6 that tells me that he idolizes me. So I'm thinking we probably need to have
There's something I'd like to say.
a conversation.
What's on your mind, X6?
Look, I'm not great with words. I'm more comfortable shooting people than talking to them. I'll just say that right up front. But sometimes you have to say what's on your mind because people need to hear it.
It's all right, X6. Whatever's on your mind, you can tell me.
Yeah, I'm getting to it. I'll just lay it out there. I look up to you. Now, before you give me shit about going soft or getting all emotional, just let me finish. All my life, I've always looked up to Father. You already know this. What you didn't know is, I was a lot less sure about you. I followed your orders because I had to, but you seemed, I don't know, unprepared. You looked lost and confused, maybe even scared. I didn't think you could handle this life and the work I do. I figured you'd just slow me down or get in my way.
You weren't exactly seeing me at my best, but I understand.
Yeah, I know that now. If I've learned anything since we've been running together, it's this. Holy shit, was I wrong about you. You're as tough and determined as anyone I've met. Maybe more, given all the things that have happened to you and everything you've lost. That's impressive. What I mean is, you have a sort of focus, a will. I think you could accomplish anything that you set your mind to. I'm not only sure that you can handle the task of running the Institute, I think you'll be the best leader we've ever had.
And there we go. Having reached the highest level of affinity with X688, you have gained the Shield Harmonics perk.
Wow. Thanks, X6. I'm deeply honored at the compliment.
You know me well enough by now to know that I mean what I say. Anyway, that's all. Thanks for hearing me out. Now let's get back to work.
All right, let's take a look. So, where is it? Shield Harmonics. Thanks to your relationship with X688, you receive plus 20 energy resistance. Very, very simple, but still a nice buff nonetheless. I think it's pretty darn good. And that's pretty much it. All right. 2 things left. First, let's go back to Virgil. And let's see what's happened. Hopefully it's all worked out. And, well, what do you know?
Welcome back. It needs some refinement, but I think we can consider my serum a qualified success.
I'm just glad you're human again.
As am I. Though I still have a tremendous amount of work to do. It will take years, perhaps decades, to generalize my formula. Still, you have my gratitude. You're welcome to make use of my lab. Or help yourself to any of this junk, if you want it. In the meantime, I have a lot of experiments to run. Excuse me.
Yeah, of course. You don't happen to have a hot plate, do you? And that's it. That is the end of Let's Play Fallout 4. The Institute Edition. Like I said, not much more to it. You can see here Father's lab coat and the Orange Institute Division head coat have been added to these quarters. They are obviously ours now. I think it's funny that that's not technically a bed, but this terminal is technically ours. You also find some interesting things that can be put in a couple of these places, but obviously this is not actually a player home that you can really change all that much in. It's just sort of there. It's not a great space, but I mean, it's better than nothing, I suppose. What else can I say? That's pretty much it. Like I said, this entire playthrough is just a little bit on the underwhelming side. There's just not much to it. It's sort of just kind of a thing that you can do if you want to, but you're rewarded for it less than under any other circumstances. I don't know how the game could be more explicit about it without just like putting a giant arrow over these characters and going, they're evil. This is the bad ending. This is not the one you want. I mean, they basically all but did that at this point. And yeah, this is not the route I would pick 9 times out of 10. In fact, I've only ever run through this one. This is my 3rd time ever doing it. And the first time was because I wanted to genuinely see what it was like. And the second time was because I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make an unambiguously evil character. And it's just not satisfying. It's really not satisfying to see this entire faction through, unfortunately. But I wanted to show it. I wanted to get it out of the way. I wanted to get it done. And now we are left with a couple of options. So obviously this is the end of this series, but someday I plan on coming back to Fallout 4 one more time and taking a look at the Minutemen ending, which, you know, was probably one of the most popular endings, and yet I've never actually gone through it. Which means that we're probably going to have a much more substantial playthrough that time around. On top of that, there are also a couple of other things that I've never taken a look at in Fallout 4. Mainly the Vault-Tec Workshop DLC, which involves building your own vault, and that's an entire chain of events that I've only ever done actually once. I would like to show at some point. And then, of course, there's Nuka World, which, I mean, I technically did play through Nuka World in my main playthrough, but I didn't go the Raider route. I actually ended up going with the open season route, which, if you know what that is, well, it's the other way of doing things. So there are some options that are still left to us that would probably be worth exploring at some point in the future, and I plan to do that eventually. But I wanted to get this one out of the way because, like I said, this playthrough, there's not much to it, but it did require a lot of setup. It did need, I felt like I needed to rationalize it, otherwise it was going to be a little bit strange, and I feel like by building Nora as this character, that was the best way I was going to be able to do things. I don't know why she's smiling, though, because there's not really much about the situation that's great. I mean, think about it. Now you're the head of the Institute, a place that's just awkward, strange. It's nice, it's clean, it's sanitary, but that's it. And now you're alone. And your only friend is, well, probably the most unfeeling and personality-less companion in the entire game. That's the Institute for you. Guys, thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this Let's Play very, very much. And I will see you all in the next one.